Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. So one NBA player that's been brought up as somebody that could get traded at some point during the season is actually Draymond Green of the Golden State Warriors. Now, this is not really like signal a rebuild or anything like that for the Warriors. It more so shows that what Draymond does for a contending team is not really what this Warriors team needs right now. And obviously, over the past few seasons, he's been a bit injury prone, and just in general, man, like he makes some pretty decent money out there. So, he could definitely help out a contending team right now. And the Warriors are just kind of like, Klay Thompson's a year away. We don't know how he's going to be when he comes back and everything. Like, maybe it's time to take just a portion of this team in a different direction, get Curry some more offensive help, as, Draymond shooting, what I'm seeing, man, is 18% on the season. Now, keep in mind that's in limited minutes, not really played all that much. And also coming off injuries and stuff, not to mention like Oubre's not shooting great either. So what can we do? What can we get for Draymond right now while his stock is probably the highest it's going to be for the rest of his NBA career? So for today's video, what we are going to do is look for some win-win trades for the Warriors, Draymond, and the other 29 teams in the NBA. Obviously, not every single team's going to trade for Draymond, but, we're going to go through all the teams and see which ones actually make sense. So before we get going on this video, man, need to ask if you can please drop that like, especially if you like these trade scenario videos. 1,000 likes is always the goal. And of course, man, subscribe if you are new to the channel. Let's get going on this, man. Okay, so first, let's kind of check out Draymond Green. And what exactly does he do? Like, what is Draymond going to give to a contender? Well, with Draymond, like, if you're asking him to be, like, the savior of your offense, that's not going to happen. Yeah, just offensively, he's never been, like, a threat. I mean, you had, like, this season where he averaged, like, 14 points off really damn good efficiency, 39% from three. And this was in 35 minutes per game, man. So yeah, he was a beast back then, but the past few seasons, he's somebody that you obviously leave wide open. But with Draymond, what you get, in my opinion, is the greatest, I'm going to say, guys, the greatest glue guy in NBA history. The person that goes out there and just does all the little things that you need for a team to win a championship. I mean, this guy has the defense, he has the playmaking, the rebounding, really just that grit and grind factor and that high basketball IQ that makes him so great at that glue position. So I will say, for Draymond to be successful continuing, into the latter part of his NBA career, you still need to surround him with shooters. Now, you will never get like a Steph Curry, Klay Thompson combination, because that's the greatest shooting backcourt of all time. But that's what he needs, some offensive players out there to spread the floor and just make the most for what he can do on the basketball court. So we're going to kind of look out for that. Like I was saying, his contract, he has 3 years left on it at about $23 million per season. So yeah, now as far as like what would the Warriors be looking for in a trade? Well, it's kind of really hard to say right now, man, because, like, I guess, like, the first notion is, well, maybe this team looks for, like, a shooting guard and moves Oubre to the bench because he's just been atrocious this season, guys, like, offensively. But at the same time, Oubre is only 24 years of age, so it's like maybe he's just, like, in a really bad shooting slump to start the season. We all know this kid can, like, light it up. Like, last year, 19.6 rebounds per game. Fantastic offensive player. Just this season, not so far, right? So maybe they don't want to quite pull the trigger on that. It is so weird, like, even talking about, like, Kelly in that sense, though, because I thought we would all be talking about Wiggins like that, but Wiggins has actually been pretty damn solid at times for this Warriors team. You obviously don't really need a center. You don't need a point guard. So really all I could think of is maybe, like, a more offensive-heavy power forward that kind of fits in this three-point shooting offense, a little bit more space the floor a little bit. That's something of consideration. Maybe an athletic four out there that can play next to Wiseman, hopefully a younger player, obviously. But also it's like, if you want to look at like the bench, because Eric Paschall is a power forward that I don't really think should be starting in the NBA. Now, he played pretty damn nice against the Clippers last night, but Eric Paschall, I always kind of like refer to him as like the mid-game ghost of Draymond Green. Like, that's what he does. Like, this man, midi is fantastic, but I don't know, just like a smaller power forward, obviously, that just kind of is pretty good offense. It doesn't really shoot the three well, but pretty good on the inside. Kind of like a traditional four, you might say. They got Marquise Chris, who's out for the season with a broken something, so he's not even be part of this. My apologies for him not being set to his injuries, but we just won't play him at all. I guess this I don't really have to do right now because we still have to, like, do the trade and everything. But yeah, so maybe a few bench players, I guess. But then even if you get some bench players, then that means you're moving Eric Paschall to the fourth spot, and that makes your bench weak by default. I mean, Damian Lee's great. You got Kent Bazemore, so Jordan Poole. So they got some decent guys right there. So we're going to kind of go through this and just kind of see what makes sense. Let's go through every single team and see, just like first off the bat, like, does this team make sense? Philadelphia 76ers, no. I cannot imagine Ben Simmons and Draymond Green on the court at the same time. Defensively, it'd be pretty damn cool, but offensively, you are just in a world of hurt. Bucks, no real position for him on that team. Bulls are not contenders, really, so yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Cleveland Cavaliers, not contenders, although a Kevin Love, Draymond Green switch would be a little interesting, maybe to like put this team on the radar a little bit more. I could kind of see that, man. Just like age-wise, Draymond's a little bit younger. Contracts match up pretty nicely, so something to consider. You got the Boston Celtics. Hey, I actually kind of like that fit a lot too, because you obviously have like the heavy offensive play of Kemba, Jalen, and Jason Tatum out there. And then Smart on the court with, what's his name, Draymond Green. Yeah, I'm so good at this, guys. It would be fantastic. You got to give up something to get him back, right? So, who really knows at that point what the pieces are. Clippers, I think, kind of makes some sense out there, obviously, too, if they want to go more of like the, maybe you can get like a Lou Williams and like a Serge Ibaka, maybe. I'm thinking that could kind of work out. Memphis Grizzlies doesn't make a lot of sense. Atlanta Hawks, I think, would be a pristine fit, man. And honestly speaking, if they could talk him into it, I could see something like a Draymond and maybe like a top 10 protected first in exchange for John Collins. Now, the thing about John Collins, though, that makes his trade value not as high is that this guy does want to get paid some money. But the money that Draymond's making, I think John Collins is warranted to make. Like, this guy is not going to get a max contract on the market. If a team does that, they're absolutely stupid. But he fits in perfectly with what the Warriors do, right? I mean, he shoots threes, grabs the rebounds and stuff like that, man, can run up and down the court. So I love that idea. And then, of course, the Hawks, who obviously have like Trae Young out there, who people say is like a Steph Curry type of player. That makes a lot of sense. So I just like that for putting the Hawks on the radar a little bit more too, man. So that's a team I'll definitely be considering as we go through the rest of these squads. Miami Heat, I mean, we always say like grit and grind, at least I do when it comes to the Miami Heat. It does make sense. I'm sure there's probably a trade to be had out there. But, once again, I just don't think there's enough like firepower, because like you have Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, who are good offensive players, but they're not like sharpshooters. You know what I'm saying? So it does kind of make sense if the trade's right, I suppose. Charlotte Hornets, I'm sure there's something there, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Utah Jazz, you got Bogdanovich, you want more of an offensive player, and obviously Rudy Gobert and Draymond Green be like the best defensive front court in the NBA. Sacramento Kings, I mean, there's been talks in Marvin Bagley, so maybe he gets a chance, going to the Warriors, and maybe things can get turned around for him. I mean, Marvin Bagley and James Wiseman, that would be fantastic to watch. Like, that's your backcourt for the next damn 13, 14, 15 years almost, if those guys play for that long. New York Knicks, no, not making a lot of sense. Los Angeles Lakers, once again, not making a lot of sense. I mean, I'm sure there's a trade here, but you're set at the front court and you got AD at the 4th spot. So yeah, you got the Orlando Magic. Not really seeing a trade there. Dallas Mavericks, always an interesting team. They always have a lot of like nice depth too, that they could probably work out a trade to get them over on the squad. You got the Brooklyn Nets. If KD bought into having Draymond back on the team, obviously they got in some little Twitter beef or whatever last season, but it would make a lot of sense. Like, they need a power forward, and that would just help out a lot too. KD would obviously go to small forward, right? For the Denver Nuggets, I actually like this fit on the team a lot too, because of Draymond, just like his playmaking and his stuff. Like, he is a better version of Paul Millsap, obviously, but he doesn't shoot as well as Paul Millsap, so you would be losing that jump shot. So that's really the only thing that I'm seeing. Indiana Pacers, not seeing a trade. New Orleans Pelicans, no. Pistons, I mean, if the Warriors want to like toss in one of their young players in like a 1st round pick, then I guess they could have like Blake Griffin. But even that, it's like Blake Griffin's contract is so large that you almost can't really warrant the 1st round pick. But if you're taking on Draymond for 3 years, then yeah. But that puts Draymond back in Michigan, and Blake Griffin, who changed his game to really fit the Warriors offense, does actually make a little bit of sense. To Toronto Raptors, don't really have a trader there. We got Pascal at the 4th spot. Houston Rockets, no, don't really see a trade there. San Antonio Spurs, not happening. Phoenix Suns, I mean, there's some stuff to be had. Maybe like a Mikal Bridges and Jay Crowder. Or maybe if they want to like just give up on Cam Johnson already, you'd be like Cam Johnson, I suppose. We got the OKC Thunder, not making sense. Minnesota Timberwolves need a power forward, and Draymond actually be the perfect player next to Karl Anthony Towns. So if you want to give up maybe like a I can see like a Malik Beasley type of trade, get another really good offensive player over on the Warriors, good 3-point shooter and stuff, and then Oubre would go to the bench, or Malik would come off the bench. That would help them out a lot. Portland Trailblazers, so Damian actually went on the record to say that he wants to play with Draymond Green, so for that type of trade to get done, you're probably looking at some sort of Gary Trent Jr. swap, but at that point, you also have to match the money. So bitch-ass contract-wise, I'm seeing if they really have anything to make that type of trade work, and I'm not really seeing it, unless you're willing to give up like Robert Covington, but even that's not going to be enough money. So I don't really think that team would work just financially. And of course, we're back at the Warriors and the Washington Wizards. This team struggles defensively. They got a lot of, good power forward, well, decent power forwards on this team. But if they want to like take the next step defensively, I mean, Thomas Bryant's atrocious at defense. We got the shooters with Bradley Beal. So maybe like a Bertans, Draymond Green type of swap, I suppose. Because Bertans on the Warriors would freaking light it up, right, man? So definitely takes that team in a new direction. So out of all these trades, I'm not going to lie, I don't really have one that fits like perfectly that I'm like, yo, like this is one we need to do. I think we talked about a lot of really good ones going into this, but I did seem pretty high on the one over on the Hawks in John Collins. So I think I'm going to try to figure out some sort of trade for that. And like I said, man, this is assuming that the Hawks don't want to pay John Collins that big type of money. Like they're safer with the type of contract that Draymond Green has, right? So we're going to do that trade. John Collins, who's at $4 million, so we're going to have to toss in somebody else to make it work. Yeah, about $17 million, which actually makes this a bit more tricky. We might not actually be able to figure anything out here to get this done because Bogdan's not getting traded. Ugh, we got Tony Snell. Okay, so if I do that and I toss in like a small contract player, we'll toss in Michael Mulder right here, and still $2.45 million needs to be picked up. Yeah, this is maybe Kevin Huerter, I guess, but even that's not really enough. Kongwu, okay, this trade actually does not work. Unless you want to give like DeAndre Hunter, but at that point you're giving up way too damn much. So yeah, that's not going to happen. All right, I guess we will try a new trade. So what other teams was I really saying, man, was like heavily could make a lot of sense. The Hawks I was kind of banking on doing this on, but that's not going to be it. Mavericks, I guess maybe the Nets. Did we try that out? But once again, I can't really think of like who they would actually take on. I mean, I said the Pistons for the rebuild. I actually kind of want to see Blake Griffin in the Warriors offense. It would be a little interesting. So we'll do this trade right here. Like I said, is it the best trade? As a Piston fan, I don't want Draymond on the team. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But the Warriors would acquire because we actually got to toss them some more money to make this work, man. $9 million, yo, these bitch-ass contracts. So it looks like we can't do that one either. We cannot do that one either. Okay. Well, we are 0 for 2 on trades that we can actually do. Okay, Wizards. I can make a Wizards trade happen. We'll do Bertans, and we got to toss in $3 million more dollars. So we'll do Bertans. I'm pretty sure, yeah, Troy Brown has, Ish Smith. There we go. Point guard. So we're going to toss in somebody else back. Let's go with Mulders. Hey, there we go. We got Draymond to help out that Wizards defense team that's struggling. Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal, Draymond Green. Once again, spacing wise, it's not great. But I mean, Thomas Bryant can like shoot the basketball and stuff. And really, if you think about it, you know, Draymond's always played with bad shooting centers like JaVale McGee, although he's a sniper now. Andrew Bogut, you know, players like that. But then again, he's always had Curry at the point guard spot. So we will try this trade out for the sake of just making a damn trade, right, man? And yeah, so for the Warriors, we got Davis Bertans, who should be starting in this case. Should be lighting up from 3. Should be interesting. I mean, can you imagine next season, though, like when he comes back, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Bertans? And that opens up the court for Wiggins to, like, slash, do things around the basket. James Wiseman with his athletic self out there, too, man. It's interesting. It's kind of interesting. So, we'll do that. And then real quick here, I do want to go to the team automation. Team selection, because I do want to pick the Warriors, but also the Wizards here, just because I want to make sure that, like, you know, like, their lineup's all good to go, too. So, yeah, all of a sudden, you're looking at this for this team. Russell and Draymond are the only 2 guys that can't shoot. Like, Avdija can light it up, Bradley Beal, obviously. So, I think defensively, man, it really helps out the team. It will kind of, you know, mend things a little bit. So, yeah, okay. I guess we will go ahead and simulate this NBA season. Let's go ahead here and look at the Warriors side of things. Simulate through date. I am, once again, guys, I do apologize that start today mode still not working this game. We are, 10 games into the season, and start today is still not working in this case here. But, no, like, do I think the Warriors dynasty is over with? Yes, I do. But they can still win a championship. If that makes sense, man, I think the Warriors dynasty is over in the sense that, yeah, like, Steph, Klay, and Draymond, that might be we might not see that trio ever again. If Klay Thompson's out for this entire season and Draymond gets traded, we might not see that. But when you still have Steph Curry and potentially a healthy, fresh Klay Thompson after, you know, being gone for 2 seasons, he'll be ready to go. Hopefully, man. We don't really know how these injuries are going to affect himself. That you could still win a championship with that, right? If the right players are around him. And like I said, like once Oubre does figure things out, he will eventually. They'll be completely fine. And then James Wiseman, I think, is looking like he's going to be a top 3 rookie in this draft class. Like, that kid looks absolutely fantastic. He's exactly what this Warriors team needs a center to do. So I love seeing that. But, just for the most part, man, like Draymond Green, like in his absolute prime, was perfect for that Warriors team. I just think last year we kind of saw a lot. I think a lot of people already knew this too. I hate using the word system player in this case, but he does only work in a certain system. Like he's an all-star glue guy. He is one of the greatest glue guys to ever play the game of basketball. Like I said earlier in this video, man. But looking at the record right now, we are 42-35 on the season. So yeah, I can see the Warriors finishing around like that 5th, 6th, 7th place. I don't think they'll quite be at 8th. I think they'll be a little bit better than that, assuming they do make the playoffs. I guess they could just go south real quickly, right, man? But yeah, in that case, Draymond being 30 and being an athletic-based player and stuff, you probably look to trade him and sell his stock while it's high. So we got all this for the player stats and everything. I'm very curious how that, Draymond did not make All-NBA defensive team. What's up with that, bro? I'm curious how the Wizards did. So we finished 6th with the Warriors, and the Wizards were 7th. So at least I got them to the playoffs, for whatever that is worth at this point. But player stats on the season. So Bertans in this offense, 13 points, 5 rebounds per game. I mean, definitely could have been better than that. He did shoot 6 threes a game, so maybe it's a chance for Eric Paschal to break out more as a player. And then for the Wizards, we got, well, we all know these guys were going to score it. Draymond's not going to score. Damn, bro, he's down this list. 6 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 1 block per game. You got to think he's a little bit better than that at this point. He did only play 24 minutes, which is, looking at his stats, like, his minutes have definitely gone down. This year, 24. Last year, 28. Seasons before that, he was at 31. But it all really depends on how much he's utilized in the offense and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and simulate these playoffs real quick here, see if any of these teams break through. Not expecting it, but you never really know. Okay, Warriors are gone. And the Wizards are gone. So both teams didn't make it to their conference finals, respectively. I don't know if that'd be the case. I just think that's 2K simulation kind of, being 2K simulation and stuff, as 8 seeds and 7 seeds somehow managed to find their way to the conference finals on a daily basis, at least on my channel. So hopefully you guys did all enjoy this though, man. These are really fun to make, just checking out the different trade scenarios. You guys let me know in the comment section below what trade you would personally do. But I think Bertans on the Warriors kind of sounds like a good idea personally, man. So hopefully you guys all enjoyed. Be sure to drop that like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and peace out, my friends.